So we have a question for you today on the podcast. How much are you willing to spend on your wedding? How much are you willing to give up for this day? There are many people who are like, hey, this is a once in a lifetime event. And hence, you shouldn't, spare anything. You have to go all out. So the question is it good to go all in and go all out? Or why do people spend so much on their wedding, and after the wedding, they now start having problems in their marriages because now they have to pay certain bills? Let's hear from you in the comment section. What's your take? Are you willing to spend whatever it is you have to spend because it's a special day for you, or you are going to spend with wisdom? I don't know. Let's share our thoughts on it. So Miguel has some agenda or has some thoughts in respect of this particular topic. And I also have some thoughts in respect of this particular topic. Why do people really want to spend a lot on their wedding? Miguel, what's your thought here? Why do you think people want to spend more on their wedding, in your opinion?
I think that, listen, sometimes people try to do that to impress others. And maybe another point is also that sometimes they try to outdo what others have previously done.
Right.
Some of them perceive it as challenge.
Right. So I think I agree with that point in the concept of inferiority complex.
Okay.
People feel that they have to validate themselves.
Yeah.
And so they've gone to a friend's wedding. And you see many of these things in a lot of women's brain, right? Yeah. They've attended a friend's wedding, and the friends did A, B, C, D. Yeah. And so in their wedding or at their wedding, they also want to do something to outshine them.
Yeah.
So as you said, it's like a challenge. Yeah. But I think that is not a challenge. It is something deep-rooted within them, inferiority complex. Yeah. They feel inferior of themselves and think the only way they can validate themselves is that wedding. Yeah. So that they can show the world that,
they can rock shoulders.
Shoulders.
With the rich.
That's the thing in that particular case. Okay. So people do that for challenge. Any other reason why you think?
Another reason is also pressure from the woman. Men are easygoing people.
Right.
And the mandate on a woman in a man's life is to come and provide help.
Right.
But now they are giving men undue pressure. and some men are also following suit. So the point is, women are very complicated species.
Okay.
That's how I put it.
Okay.
They are complicated species.
Right.
And this one thing I tell people a lot, that listen, when you are in a relationship with a woman, and the woman is advising you, you can listen, but don't apply.
Okay. So give her a hearing, yes, but you cannot apply all.
As a man, you have to always be mindful that if you listen and do everything your wife tells you to do, then you are not the husband, you are a child.
Yeah, that's true.
You are your wife's child.
That's true.
Because women can complicate your life. Look at what Ananias did to Sapphira.
Sapphira did to Ananias.
One of my all-time Bible story that I realized that a man can be so foolish.
Okay.
Because women
they sold the land, and then Ananias was like, "Let's do the right thing." And go and put everything on the altar so that we will share, because that's the norm.
Because somebody has brought his own and where
GD, right?
What I say? But what you be You see who there now? Who continue? And look at you see, women have wide array of imagination. Look at the imagination the woman had before she sold the idea to the husband.
Right.
Let's go and cheat God. That was the backlog of the whole thing.
Right.
You see the point? So as a man, listen to your wife's advice, because listen, it's very good to take advice from your wife, but decipher on which ones you are going to act on.
Or not, which one you are not going to. Yeah. So you think that those extravagant weddings, most of them are because of the woman's
pressure? They are the influences of women. Like you rightly said. Ajua mensa tegu. Okoye no. Omo de cast train e ba ye de 4. Meanwhile, usutuna wa utie this garbage, you know, say you
don't have the money.
And the art of love and the big promise. And you see, all these things are all coming from the big promises and words spoken at the talking stage.
Right. But do you think it's necessary to let's assume that it's not the woman who is inferior of herself.
Okay.
It is her day.
Yeah.
And she wants to be in that element.
Yeah.
Is it good to spend it if you have it? Because my take is that if you have it, for instance, you watch Despite's Child, or Otunfo's Child, or Akufo-Addo's child marrying, and your mother or your father is from
Despite let me check this here. There will be dream car called last.
Because there are levels.
Because there are realms.
Right.
When you deal with the rich, you realize that money is just not worth it. when they spend money as if they don't have brains. They just spend the money because they are making.
How much is your money?
You see, if you joke, they will buy your money with money. They will buy your wealth with money.
Right.
So I don't have problem like you said. The people who have it
can spend.
People who have it spend it.
Because this is the issue. Like I was saying, somebody has looked at Akufo-Addo's child wedding, Akufo-Addo's daughter wedding, Otunfo's daughter's wedding. Then your mother, excuse me again, we respect everybody, right? Your mother is in the village. Your father is in the village. You have a miserable life. You don't live in your house. You don't have a car. You live in some miserable single room and porch. And you want to have that same wedding? I think that's where the problem is.
So to social media.
So they also want to have something. And that is what end up now putting burden on their marriage after the ceremony. And people start fighting at the honeymoon. Honeymoon that is meant to be honeymooned, meant to be enjoyed. Now you are paying bills. Phones are ringing. And there are people who go and borrow money for wedding. What's your thought on that?
That's one of the dumbest things a man can do on earth. Like sometimes I sit and I'm like, to go and borrow money for a wedding. Listen, and the issue is not with borrowing a minimum money.
Okay.
Let's say you are going to do your wedding, and maybe you've covered a lot of things, and maybe
you need some 10K, 5K.
10K is even too much.
Too much, okay.
But per the works you are doing.
Yeah, the work you're doing. Yeah.
You see the point. So let's say 2, 3, 4, 5,000.
That's okay.
I think it should be you should end around that parameters.
Right.
You see, because the person that you've went to borrow money is not married, and you see if the person is not married, it makes the case worse. Because if there's a you don't want to see it again. You want to live like a big boy. That's how they will see it. And let me say this. I don't know whether if after this thing people are going to change their ways or whatever. I don't know. But the point is that in Africa, as a young guy, if you get married, you are targeted. Wanyeska.
Okay. Also, married, it becomes a symbol of prosperity or that kind of thing.
But as I say, hey, you who finds a wife
finds a good thing and finds favor before the Lord.
So you become targeted. And there is this mentality. As for that one, I hate those mentality. I would beseech people to do away with that mentality if they could. And the mentality is that maybe you are a trader or you sell certain things, and once you get married, people will just Okay.
So in the workspace, when you are married, people think you have arrived. So they wouldn't want to assist you.
So, baby. Maybe I know who say maybe a
big wedding. Okay.
Say pressure 10 years service now 7 years free.
And now they
office coffee of yesterday now also what I see.
So
now we just
But I think that the reason why people, this is my theory though.
Okay.
I think the reason why people borrow money to marry is because they see the marriage ceremony as an investment. So that they've borrowed money to marry with a plan that when people come, they will give them gifts, they will give them money. Then by so doing, they will be able to then take the money proceeds from the wedding ceremony and be able to pay the loan and have some amount left. But they finish the wedding and realize that, holy cow, the money that came and the loan they went for is a loss.
Improper fraction.
So that is where that is where they start having problems. So I think that's one of the reasons why people borrow money to come and marry, because they are like, when they are going to borrow the money, they are like, oh, after the ceremony now I'll bring the money to you. Where are they going to get the money from?
Let me chip this real quick. As a woman, and we are banner in case you couldn't age me no up extravagant to the said there be umpe. Because say money are frustrated, it means the both of you are frustrated.
That's true.
Because or the anger never also. Or if you listen now, I did this and this my partner couldn't advise me.
Yeah.
You see the point? Once the man is in trouble, the household is in trouble. So as a responsible woman, it's even that burden should even be on you, the woman, to advise the man. Because if it is a lifelong decision that you are making with the man, and he's going for a huge loan to just spend it on an
6
occasion.
hours. Because wedding is on the average like 6-7 hours.
It's done. And it's done.
And people spend time planning their wedding more than they plan the marriage.
You see the point?
It's quite amazing.
And what you have listed between the two, which one is more important?
I mean, the marriage is important than the wedding. But people spend time. Hey, and I want this color. Hey, I want this to be perfect. I want to wear this gown. Without thinking about, okay, after this ceremony, where are we going to live? How are we going to pay our children's school fees? How are we going to pay our rent? What will happen to us? It's like many people don't think about the future.
And sometimes I understand these people as well. But I don't know why it's so no way. So told no one know
now go worry. Rent as soon as you
Who you know tip or you are social media. Stupid you are.
Big wedding who go rent cars be 4 or 5. I be flexi. I be rent as soon you can't pay the rent.
So the landlord is rent a cocoship.
So I think that it's a cultural issue, number one. Societal issue, the way people want to do, and then also there is some level of inferiority complex in there, and also some people think, as I said, that the event is how do we call it? It's an investment opportunity. That is why the average wedding that you will go to or event you go to, they will be selling stuff. They'll say, oh, are you from a bow? Mumfa sikangwa are you from so? Hey, are you from 29 bakubia? And so in 9 to sikaso. Are you from transi? Beji handkerchief nafa paper are you from him? And so it has come to a marketplace.
Those are the weddings I don't want to attend. Because you see, in Africa we don't value time.
Yes.
You are doing an occasion, you invited somebody. Maybe out of love for you,
the person comes.
Left a lot of things to come to your wedding, and maybe somebody is on a schedule. And you see, in Africa, we don't value time. So I can't say, "Brian, upon 2 o'clock, I would not prepare for 6 p.m.
Around 7 p.m.
Because all these things take away the time. And I don't understand the rationale or the concept behind that. You said you are going to marry, and now you are using it to scheme people.
Make money out of it.
Exploitation.
Yes.
You see the point. In the name of marriage, you want to steal from your friends. Obi one more no hard work. Who said down for a successful no akuku wedding? No, watch it. Now
I invite it. There was this video on TikTok. I don't know if you saw it. There was a man who wanted to marry. And they have done everything. Then they send invitation link to all their friends, charging them to pay, I don't know, say $1,000 or so to come for the wedding.
Charging the friends to pay.
Friends and family members will be and their justification is that they have spent money for this event. their friends can pay money and attend Chris Brown and co events. Until they should also, if they are coming to their wedding there, then they should come and pay for tickets to come for the.
Now condition we must say, oh Beman, find a Beman or a friend to this guy. The year no warren, no warren, and no penny. Condition we must maybe also or by the better.
Or better have a down, Jay.
Condition we must add there because
no, there's nothing like that. They are like it's a ticketed event. So if their friends can go and watch a celebrity, then their wedding too, they should pay before they come.
So at the end of the day, Adam.
No. Many people didn't come
Because this
he was on Twitter, TikTok complaining whether and he was justifying and trying to say what he did was right, and the friends don't love him.
What is the leading cause of death in Africa?
Leading cause of death in Africa.
What is it?
I think it will be the malaria and co.
So entitlement to Kumunipa and can I don't know why Africa have such huge entitlement issue like that.
It's a serious thing.
$1,000 or
about $1,000 or so. Amen. Ticketed events like that. Okay. So I think that because I think that weddings, if you have the money you want to spend. Yeah. But the most important thing is it is not that ceremony.
Yeah.
It's your life after that ceremony.
Yeah. Because if children are not involved, later on they
will come
for them.
So I think that as young people, we have to think more about the future than that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's just a moment. Yeah. Because there are many people who have spent money.
Yeah.
Trying to have extravagant wedding or have drones to deliver their things go and rent this kind of car because they want to show their friends that we have arrived, but at the end you live in a miserable rented house. You can't even survive.
I don't know whether if they are having challenge to break the record of Romeo. Because you see, this guy is dead and his name is lingering on forever.
No, like you said, it's the challenge. You see, our society, and because of social media, it will be posted, right? Yeah. So everybody wants to prove. Charlie, did you watch that? Yeah. Did you see that wedding? Charlie, or your guy, basa, wedding, or your pre-money.
Now, pre-money,
but you are suffering.
In time waiting, say the neighbor, they go to the supermarket. Sometimes you see the pressure now, and we have to accept that. Listen, now the social media is part of our daily life,
right?
And the pressure, there's nothing you can do about it. But you have to learn to mute the background noise.
Right? And this is the thing that you have to understand. Sometimes you see someone's wedding.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't pay a dime.
Yeah. But I'm not privy to that.
You don't know. Yeah. Maybe they didn't spend a dime on the wedding. It was
covered by their parents.
Somebody or something like that. Yeah. But you look at that same wedding and you're like, you want to have the same thing. And that's the problem in our society. Like, for instance, someone sees you are having an iPad. The person wouldn't know that this is a corporate iPad. Yeah. It's for the company and you are using it. Yeah. The person will be like, oh, Miguel has an iPad. Me too, let me go and buy an iPad. Yeah. Then they will save money. Yeah. That they are supposed to invest. Yeah. That maybe they are supposed to use to buy a land somewhere. Yeah. Because the money for this iPad can buy a land somewhere. Yeah. Then they will use it and go and buy the iPad. Yeah, Miguel has an iPad. So, me too, I have an iPad. Yeah. To say, Jimmy, anything,
there's a lot of pressure on social media.
And we have to learn to come out of that shells. Yeah. And that's one thing that I think by the grace of God, I've been able to overcome. And I think the same thing for us. Yeah. Because we don't do things because somebody has done it.
Yeah, no.
We do what we want to do based on the way we feel we have to do it. Because that's the reality of life. You have to be comfortable in your skin. Yeah. No matter what it is, be proud of it. Yeah. That is what you have. Yeah. And your peace of mind is more important than impressing people. Yeah. Yeah. Because what do you get in impressing?
There is this popular saying that if you can't afford it twice,
don't buy it.
Then you can't afford it.
That's true.
So the point is, sometimes you might see somebody holding something of high value. Maybe they have made the sacrifice and they are in a position to acquire it without any pressure.
Right.
So once you see it on a face value, that's why I'm always having this issue with people that listen, get closer to people. If you can get closer to people who are living their lives on social media, you could realize that they are even suffering. They are suffering more than you are. Some of them are suffering more than you, and that now, I mean, for the purposes of friendships and all that, somebody can have a car among 10 friends. One guy can have a car among 10 friends.
Right.
And everybody can have access to the car.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
So once you see somebody driving a Range Rover, you shouldn't assume that it belongs to them.
Right. Right.
Sometimes it can be for an institution they are working with.
That's true. That's true.
That's the point.
That's true.
So I think that spending more than, putting it in this way, biting more than you can chew
shouldn't be encouraged.
So
people should be in their skin.
Yeah.
Do what they can.
Yeah.
And don't be pressured to try to impress people. Because the future of the marriage is more important than that 6-hour time that we are spending.
Yeah, I agree absolutely.
Because actually, our society is actually just fucked up.
Yeah.
Our society has nothing to offer generally in that regard. Because everybody is seeking to establish themselves. Hey, Charlie, this person has done this wedding. Me too, I want to do this kind of wedding. This person is wearing this clothing. I want to have this clothing. And it's all about competition and preventing people to actually live the life they want to live.
Yeah.
Now, this is not about wedding though, but I've had people who approach me. And they are like, hey, Nhyira, I like your setup. I like your video feed. I like your sound. I want to have the same setup. Then I'm like, bro, you are now starting. What's your budget? They say, oh, I have 3,000 cities. I'm like, 3,000 cities. You want to have my setup for 3,000? No, how much is even the mixer here? The laptop, the MacBook here, how much is it? So if you can just stand, just recently I was talking to somebody, I said, hey, listen, yes, I know maybe my dream is not this setup. We will have a better setup going into the future. My dream is not this setup, but if you want to have this setup, it will take time. For now, start with what you have. Be comfortable with it. Don't try to compete. Because that will put unnecessary pressure on you. And that's the problem of this society. Oh, Charlie. Because imagine you are married, you had a beautiful ceremony, then after 2 months, you start struggling.
You are calling people.
You are calling people for help. You are calling people. You can't pay your rent.